love, life, and lunatics. The pretty lies, the ugly truth, I'm sick with love, life, and lunatics. So crazy but can't get enough of it.
Welcome to Love, Life, and Lunatics, a podcast where I share personal stories about my life, my loves, and some crazy situations that I unfortunately got myself into. Sometimes I'll have a guest who will also share a story or two about a time that changed their life or had a hand in making them who they are today. So, hang out with me for a little while and enjoy Love, Life, and Lunatics. Hey everybody! I just really wanted to thank everyone, whoever listened to my first show. Thank you. I love that. I know I sent quite a few people my first episode because I was so hype, and I got really positive feedback, which made my heart happy. It's what I wanted. I wanted to share a lot of stories that, maybe people don't know, but everyone can relate to a little bit of something. Then have a discussion about it. That's really what I wanted. So to everyone I sent the shows to that listened to the show, thank you so much. I had a great conversation with you guys. Happy that you liked it. I also wanted to say, I know the first episode was short. I got so many people that were saying, it was really, really short. Why did you make it so short? The reason that I made it so short was, number one, the story is the story. Can't embellish it. Things happen the way that they happen. I do tend to get to the point, and then we can have discussion afterwards. I'm going to be releasing Love, Life, and Lunatics twice a week. So I'm looking at Tuesdays and Thursdays. That kind of feels cool to me. Also, this season, there's only 12 episodes. So only 12 episodes. It's about 6 weeks worth of shows. It's cool to save up some episodes. If you want to wait until there's 4 or 5 or 6 or 8 episodes and then you want to binge them, do that. But I will ask that you follow me. Right now it's on Spotify. Your girl's going to figure things out. But if you follow the podcast, I would love that. And this story is called Summertime Bummer Time. Ice cream, the beach, barbecues, pool parties, hot weather, earthquakes. These are just a few things that come to my mind when I think about the summertime. I used to love the summertime. School used to let out in June, back in my day. Also, my birthday is in June and would always mark the start of my summer with a party and/or cake. So, for the majority of my life, summer was my second favorite season. Another reason I love summer was because it was deemed fun. You can have a summer love and have fun in the sun, is what was always being advertised. In June of 2018, shortly after my birthday, my grandmother was hospitalized. I was also starring in a musical where I was working under very challenging circumstances. I love to work, but everyone doesn't have the same work ethic that I do. So sometimes things can become a little difficult. I worked past that and, for the most part, kept cordial, quiet, and to myself when I wasn't on stage. In August of 2018, my grandmother died while I was on stage singing. Our plan, hers and mine, had been that for my last show, I would fly her out to Los Angeles to see and celebrate my last day with the Dreamgirls production. We were both very excited. My grandmother and I had spoken for 20 years at least once a week. When she wasn't coherent for weeks, I made sure to text her every week to let her know how things were going with me. I felt like she needed some interesting reading material when she woke up. I don't believe she had a chance to read any of my texts. I'm sure someone did. Anyway, I lost her in the summer. Due to high levels of stress, I developed high blood pressure and anxiety. It was too hot outside. I felt like I was going to pass out if I wasn't in a cold room all the time. I lost my best friend and my mind. After a few years, I accepted her passing. I stopped being such a grief monster, but my anxiety was still in full effect, especially in the summer. In June of 2021, 4 days after my birthday and exactly 1 week after my baby shower, I gave birth to my daughter. I had an extremely difficult birth. My delivery resulted in my kidneys bleeding, my lungs were collapsed, and I had heart malfunctions. I remember praying on the table during my C-section that the Lord would just let me see my baby. My recovery was so incredibly hard, but what was even harder was how fast my relationship with my husband deteriorated. We hadn't even left the hospital before he felt the need to argue with me. After a while, I stopped speaking. I let him yell at me. I held my baby, quietly looked into her eyes, and let him yell. Exactly 1 month after Gianna was born, he filed for divorce. We were married for only 5 months. I wasn't even nearly healed from my delivery when the domestic violence started to intensify. I spent the rest of that summer fighting for my daughter. What happened to summer fun in the sun? I spent so much time writing declarations for court and preparing my cases against my ex-husband. All of that time and money I spent on lawyers and court could have been spent on Gianna. After a brief reconciliation with my ex-husband, in hopes that I could mend my marriage and repair our family dynamic, I finally aligned myself with the reality that if I stayed in that relationship, it might cost me my life. So, I left him for good. I am steadily trying to forgive myself for unwisely choosing someone who I believe never really wanted to be a husband or a father. I have closed that chapter on that brief and poignant moment in my life and have moved on. But I do wish him well. This summer, I have chosen to change my thinking. Instead of dreading the summer, I'm choosing to smile. I've taken Gianna swimming several times this summer. She loves the pool. She's taking ballet lessons and is learning the basics of ballet dancing, an activity my mother has chosen to do with her, as well as jujitsu, something I've chosen to do with her. I want her to learn and excel at jujitsu, ballet, and whatever else she chooses to do. As far as my summer fun activity, well, you're listening to it. Keeping myself busy while sitting in front of my air cooler and air conditioner writing keeps my mind occupied and my creative spirit happy. I really had to consciously and purposely choose joy in the summer. I had to intentionally create new exciting experiences for myself and my daughter. I want her to have real summer fun. I want her to find joy in all seasons because it is a blessing to experience every season. There's something to being resilient. This was probably the nicest summer I've had in a while, and I'm thankful for it. However, my favorite season is fall, and I'm happy it's right around the corner. Summertime, bummer time. It's so true. I used to love the summer. I really did. And the heat didn't put me in such a little attitude. It didn't zap my energy like it does now. I think it's because I had developed a sad connection with the summer. And I truly believe that started with the loss of my best friend, who is my grandmother, because that's when things started going weird for me. And I didn't really figure that. I didn't figure none of that. I was just kind of living my life and going through my life. And then it started to get hot. And then those memories came. And then it was, your phone will remind you, oh, it's summertime again. And this is where you were this time last year. And it was just kind of like, oh no. But what I will say is, the arrival of my daughter, and it's so close to my birthday, it felt like a gift from God. We as humans, sometimes we have to snatch ourselves up. The Lord says, encourage yourself. Sometimes we have to snatch ourselves up and say, hey, you're not going to fall into this sadness or this depression or this darkness or this whatever, you're not going to fall into this trap. You have to focus on the positive. And my daughter in 2021, even though I had all those other issues that summer, every time I was with her, that's where I wanted to be. That was my happy place. And she's such a happy little girl. And it just ignited so much joy in me. So I had to really say, girl, if you don't get up and make summer, we got to make summer great again. I'm so happy that I did have a chance to do that even this summer. And I surround myself with positive, funny, upbeat, encouraging people. And I seek them out. And I like to share my time with them. I entitled this Summertime Bummer Time because it was the truth. For several years, I just did not like the summer. I dreaded it. Even when summer was coming up this year, I was like, you can ask Franco. And Franco, me and Franco were like, how you doing? I'm like, I don't know, the summer's coming, bro. I really had to change my mind. And it worked. Doing all those fun activities with Gianna. I don't believe the summertime is her favorite because she likes to run around a lot. You know, we had 112-degree heat at one point. We were outside because we had to be outside, but not very long. And she, as soon as we got out of the car, she starts running around. And then she looks at me like, what? It's burning up out here. And I'm like, yeah, let's go upstairs and get some juice. She's like, ice cream? I said, yeah, girl, let's go. Oh my gosh, Gianna she says 5 scoops? Like, no, you cannot have 5 scoops. Anyway, this story was really close to my heart and worth sharing because seasons bring memories. It's the feel of the season, it's the changing of the weather, it's all those things. And so the seasons bring memories. My favorite season is fall. It always has been. I like the crisp air, the wind, the small chill in the air, but underneath that it's a little warm. The days are still beautiful. I'm not a big fan of it getting darker sooner, but that's cool. I like to finally put on my Burbank sweatshirt. I have 2 of them, by the way. I love the fall, and that goes right into snuggle weather. Snuggle weather. Yeah, mean. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this episode. I really am glad you listened. Anyway, thank you for listening to Love, Life, and Lunatics. Please share your thoughts about this podcast. And if you liked it, please like and share. I'd really appreciate it. Also, if you'd like to be a guest on my show, or you know anyone who'd like to be a guest on my show, and share a life, love, or crazy story that's happened to you, please email me at justonejania@gmail.com. That is just the number 1, Jania, just 1 Jania, @gmail.com. I'd love to hear your story, and I'd love to have you as a guest. Please check out my show notes in the description box for more information. Thanks again for listening, and until next time, see ya.
Love, life, and lunatics. Baby, things ain't always gonna be so bad. We can make it through the hard times. Believe me. Life and lunatics. Love.